Oh my god, what an innings from Virat Kohli tonight. India has been down and out from the game. There was no chance for India to come back to that game. Maybe in the mid innings to the 10 hour mark, India was just done and dusted from the kind of situation that Pakistani team has put India into. They are just bowled really well, and Indian batters are no clue of the situation. L Rahul and Rohit Sharma, who opened the innings for the Indian team, they were feeling the heat, and KL Rahul was never into the game, and he found it very difficult to score. When it comes to Rohit Sharma, I think the kind of performance that he is putting for the Indian team, when it comes to the Asia Cup, and when today again he has been a disappointment for the Indian fans. I was thinking of a good knock from coming from the Indian skipper, but this has not been his night. The same goes for KL Rahul, and they were dismissed cheaply, and India was in a spot of bother. KL Rahul departed. You know, the King Kohli. There has been some planning going on, and they were executing the plans, and the pitch has been very favorable for the bowlers. And again, this was a ground perfectly made for fast bowling, and Indian fast bowlers had exploited the kind of conditions that's been provided to them in the initial overs, and then the Pakistani batters just came back and they put forward a decent score for the Indians to chase down. But this has never been a mammoth total for the Indian team. Indian team has chased down 200, and when it comes to this kind of a decent total in this kind of a decent ground, where the boundaries have been 80 meters and 70 meters apart, and there's been huge gap in the field, and there's always been twos and threes for the taking, and Indian batters initially never exploited such a situation, and the Pakistani bowlers have been dashing in the initial overs. But then Kohli came to the crease, and Indian batters initially was looking to see off the new ball, and I think they came to the crease with the mindset of catching up later when the middle overs come, and spinners were a real target in this ground, and they were not getting the punches that they were looking for. So when both the openers had gone back to the pavilion, Suryakumar Yadav came to the crease, and he was in another world. He was the first boundary shot that's coming to my mind is from Suryakumar Yadav. Straight drive down the line, and that's been a marvelous shot. The Indian fans, they were hoping for a marvelous, mind-blowing innings from Suryakumar Yadav, but again the Pakistanis came back to the game, and the Pakistani fast bowler has come up with a ball. It's just pushed Suryakumar Yadav to the back foot, and he couldn't come up with a shot, and ultimately he just nicked the ball to the keeper, and he has lost the wicket. When Suryakumar Yadav was dismissed, Indian fans were very disappointed, and to see the back of him, Pakistanis were looking for his wicket, and they were overjoying. The Pakistani fast bowler taking his wicket, he was enjoying as if the game has been won, punching the fist, and they were enjoying as if the game has been already on their side. There came Akshar Patel to the crease. I think the thought behind sending Akshar Patel ahead of Hardik Pandya might be spinners. 2 to 3 overs of fast bowling, there will be spinners. So there's 2 spinners and 8 overs for the taking. So spinners has not been a positive influence in this game when it comes to the Indian innings. The spinners have been going for so many runs, and fast bowlers are the real heroes in this match. So Indians were looking to catch off from spin attack from the Pakistani team, and that might have been the reason for the Indian coach Rahul Dravid to send in Akshar Patel ahead of Hardik Pandya. But Akshar Patel was looking to get a single, and seeing Virat Kohli responding from the other end, Akshar Patel just goes for the single, and Virat Kohli, when seeing the fielder coming to the ball, he just sends back Akshar Patel, and he was in no man's land, and ultimately Akshar Patel loses his wicket. The stumping incident has been given to the third umpire. Look whether the stumps has been dispatched clearly. But when there's replays, when we are seeing the replays, it's been very clear that the ball has just bounced off from the keeper's gloves, and the bail and the bails has been dislodged from the by the keeper's gloves, not by the ball. So it must have been a not out situation. But the third umpire just come up with an out signal on displayed on the screen, and Indian fans again has been disappointed with that decision. And there was no choice other than to come bring in Hardik Pandya to the crease. When Hardik Pandya came up to the party, India was well below the required run rate, and the run rate has been creeping ahead. That was a very difficult moment for the Indian fans. They were all tensed. The stadium was all tensed. You could see the kind of tension in the fans' faces. Pakistani bowlers has been putting in a shift, and they thought India will be down and buried. I was thinking of one thing. When Pakistanis were batting for the initial 10 overs, they also struggled very hard for the initial 10 overs. And later, when the swing and the seam movement from the new ball was lost, they came back. Their batters came back with the smashing sixes and all. So I was hoping to see such a scenario arise again for this Indian batting lineup. After 10 over mark, there was a break. I think it was a drinks break. After the drinks break, that over, that was a left-hander spinner. The left-hander spinner was bowling from the Pakistani team, and Hardik Pandya took him apart. Just scored a six, and then he took a single. And then it's Virat Kohli's chance to shine. And Virat Kohli also came up to the party, and he also come up with a marvelous shot. And ultimately, we have scored 13 runs in from half of the over. Then I thought Virat Kohli is gonna, knowing Virat Kohli, the kind of performance that behind him, I was sure that he will be going for a single. So the next ball has been a single. Then Hardik Pandya again came up to face the left-hander spinner, and the last ball of that over, that's been a six from the Hardik Pandya's bat, and India has came back. That was a beautiful moment for the Indian fans, because we were done and dusted in that game. But though that over has really brought us back, around 18 to 20 runs had been scored on that over. So that's been a real kick in the back for the Pakistanis, because they never thought such a situation would come. Such was the enjoyment that's been displayed over there. Then pair Hardik Pandya and Virat Kohli slowly stitching the partnership that India was looking for, and the partnership go to 70 runs, then 80 runs, then finally it came to 100 runs. So again 5 overs are remaining. India need to get 60 runs with Virat Kohli and Hardik Pandya in crease. So again, per over, if you calculate it, you would need to get around more than 10 runs per over. So it's been a huge task for the Indians. But there is one positive for the Indians. This pair has been in the middle for more than 10 overs, and they were looking sharp, and they were slowly getting to their rhythm. Virat Kohli was slowly getting to their rhythm. To Hardik Pandya, they were bowling a kind of bouncer length to Hardik Pandya, short balls, and he was finding it very difficult to score off these short balls. And I think Pakistanis were hoping to give more strike to Hardik Pandya in order to hike the run rates, and but he managed to get in singles and give strike back to Virat Kohli. And after seeing the kind of partnership with Virat Kohli and Hardik Pandya, I was a bit confident. If this pair can just be in the middle for 2 more overs, then the fans are going to witness some magic from this pair. In the last 4 overs, India required around 54 runs to win the match, and the partnership of Virat Kohli and Hardik Pandya was doing really well. They were keeping India in the match, and the run rate was crept up to about 16 runs per over, and India were dire need of hard shots, sixes and fours. Boundaries are the requirements right now. But Pakistan came up with a very good 17 over, and they didn't keep much runs in that over. The match was coming to a tight finish, and there come the 18th over, and it's bowled by Shaheen Afridi. He has been the pick of the bowlers from the Pakistani side, and he was looking to get in with tight lengths and the kind of short pitch balls that they were trying to Indian batsmen. And India were in dire need of runs, and then came the Virat Kohli that we used to have. He just changed the gear, and he just brought in 17 runs for the side, and that just brought India some more closer to the winning runs. And for the last 2 overs, India required around 31 runs to win the match. So the second last over was to be bowled by Rauf, the Pakistani seamer who took around 3 wickets, and he has been in prime form, and the Pakistanis were looking to that bowler to get them to their winning side, but that's not going to happen when Virat Kohli has been prime form right now. And so for the first 4 balls, Hardik Pandya has been trying, Virat Kohli has been trying, and they were not able to go for the maximums, and they couldn't score much for the first 4 balls. But then came the last 2 balls, and the second last ball from that over, very difficult for any batsman to score off. But Virat Kohli, having been there in the middle for so long, and he has been seeing the ball very good, and he just came up with an excellent shot, and he just took that delivery to the maximum. India just got the run that's required. The 6 from Virat Kohli has changed the match in favor of India. So India requires 22 runs in last 7 balls. Seeing Virat Kohli in fine form, Rav came up with a pacey delivery down the leg side. Virat Kohli just tried to flick the ball over the fine leg, and that ball also gone for the maximum. So the match has been tilted in favor of India. So India requires only 16 runs in the last over. Pakistani team has also made a grave mistake. Babar has finished all the fast bowlers, and there's only 1 over remaining from the spinner. Nawaz is the one allocated to bowl the last over. India had taken 20 runs in an over from Nawaz. So India was itching to go, as they were very confident. Pakistani captain has slightly tweaked the strategy, and he hopes to come up with the medium pace deliveries from Nawaz. Hardik Pandya failed to get a connection for the first delivery, and the ball just looped up over, and Baba, the Pakistani captain, takes the catch, and India loses Hardik Pandya's wicket. And then comes Dinesh Karthik to the crease. The need of the over is just giving the strike back. Karthik doesn't need to go for a shot, and Virat Kohli is in hot form, so it will be ideal for India to give the strike back to Virat Kohli. So Dinesh Karthik just nicks the ball away for a single, and Virat Kohli comes back to the strike. So Nawaz has been keeping calm, and he's been going on with the Pakistani plan. And the next ball from Nawaz, Virat Kohli drives straight down the ground, and he goes for a single. The singles was not enough for the Indians, so yeah, Karthik was running as if he's still 19 years, and he just runs down the line and came back, and as a result Virat Kohli managed to get 2 runs, and he is back on strike. So the next ball from Nawaz, that's the ball that has caused a lot of controversy. He comes up with the full toss delivery, and Virat Kohli managed to hit that for a maximum. Kohli raised the square leg umpire the question whether this delivery has been a no ball. The pressure has got to Nawaz and the Pakistani cricketers, that's why they had came up with a full toss delivery that's ultimately came up to a no ball. So after the 6, India requires 7 runs from 3 balls. The next ball is a free hit, and Nawaz comes up with a wide delivery. So again the equation comes down. India requires only 5 runs from 3 balls. Nawaz managed to get Virat Kohli bowled on the free hit delivery, but the ricochet from the stumps goes back to the third man area. Keeper Rizwan, he looks very frustrated seeing Indians going for runs. Indians took around 3 runs in that delivery, and later it was confirmed that if a no ball arrives and the stumps has been broken, even then if the fielders are not caught the ball, then there is every possibility for the batsman to go for a run. So that's what had happened. Seeing the equation in favor of India, Pakistani captain Babar again tweaked the bowling from Nawaz, and the keeper just comes up to the batsman, and Nawaz comes up with the authentic left-arm spinning delivery, and Karthik is in the crease to face Nawaz. Only 2 runs are required in the remaining 2 balls, and Nawaz came up with a wide delivery. Karthik just opted to scoop the delivery, but the keeper Rizwan managed to collect it, just stumps Karthik for the wicket. So India loses Karthik's wicket, and India requires 2 runs in 1 ball. Again the tension rises in the stadium whether this is going to be a super over, whether the Indians will be able to get the remaining 2 runs and register a superb win over Pakistan, or whether Indians doesn't take a run and the win goes to Pakistan. All these scenarios have been running over in the minds of Indian fans. So Ravichandran Ashwin is the next batsman coming to the crease. He will be facing Nawaz. Ravichandran Ashwin has been very clever with the batting. So Ravichandran Ashwin knows that the Nawaz will be going for a leg side delivery. So he just strays away from the ball, and that ball goes for a wide. So the occasion again reduces. India requires only 1 run from 1 ball. So again the scores are level. So Pakistani captain brings up the fielders to stop the single. Devchandra Nashin comes up with a superb shot over the covers for the boundary for the last ball, and India wins the match. And it's been a very dramatic match with tense situation all over. India was very much out from the game from the outset, and Pakistanis thought they were winning this match hands down, but that's not the case. The victory against Pakistan team was possible with the effort of Virat Kohli. He is the man. The Virat Kohli that we Indians knew came back to the match. He was in out of form for the previous so many matches for India, but when it mattered, he came to the party and he scored an outstanding innings. And the career of Virat Kohli in 2020 career, this has been one of the prime innings, one of the major innings from Virat Kohli. He has displayed it in a World Cup stage. That's what makes this man perfect, and he's been a run machine. And there's been another important factor about Virat Kohli. His major contributions for India came when India was in chasing the scores, and that's why he's been called as a chase master. And he's been an asset to the Indian cricket. And when it mattered, he came to the party and he scored 82 runs from 53 odd balls, and others chip in to make this win possible for the Indian team. It's been a spectacular win for the Indian team, and the Indian team start the World Cup campaign with a win over our mighty rivals Pakistan. Let's hope that India carries on this winning run and leaves the World Cup in Australian soil. India's next match will be against Netherlands on Thursday. Look out for my next video, so we can meet in the next video.